as you know, A Summer's Evening on the Quad, to give it its proper title, is about inviting different artists in every year. I was fortunate enough to be asked in on a very early production. I think it was the second production they had, and my first encounter with the Garda band, and I was with the Celtic Tenors. My takeaway from that was not so much the experience we had musically, but it was meeting Pat Cotter, a man who spends his entire life looking out for the welfare for others, and that it was through that concert that we just stayed in touch quite loosely after that, and never really thought it would become anything more than just a kind of an acquaintanceship.
For 14 years we've been putting this event on. We started with about 500 people and we're now up to 2,000 people. We've raised in the 14 years nearly over 700,000 for charities, and they're all local charities. And what has it done for the charities is that it has given them money to put into facilities. And that's what it was about originally. It was decided 14 years ago that we put on a small little event, and has ballooned to this event, which is one for the university's calendar every year, and one that I'm delighted to be involved in.
When you meet someone like Pat Cotter, whose heart is a mile wide, you either run away from him because you don't want to get involved with him, because he'll make you feel like you're not good enough, because he's an incredible, generous human being, or else, in the fortunate position I can offer something to him in his quest to put on better and better productions. So I was very happy to volunteer, to be part of a production, maybe an oversight, a consultant, rather than being really involved hands-on. The whole event is imbued with generosity, and I think we live in a world where all you have to do is switch on the television and it's bad news after bad news after bad news. And this event is all about good news. It's about community spirit. It's about putting on high quality music, but for something else. And I think anything that makes people look into their community and to the other events that are happening, the charities that are involved, it's incalculable what they will take away from hopefully the presentations tonight about the charities, and people will find out a bit more. They've also been entertained, so for me there's a cycle there that we can't tell where the spin-offs will go, but I think that sense of community is very, very important.
And there's been some incredible talent from Cork and all over the country brought here naturally to raise funds for so many charities in Cork. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, but just the setting is glorious. The sound and lighting team do an amazing job. People don't necessarily always appreciate the guys behind the sound desk. It's a very unseen, invisible job. What really shows things off is the spectacular lights that just glow all around the quad as the sun sets. It is a spectacular venue, and it brings that certain little bit of magic that's just incredible to be part of, whether you're in the audience or on stage or doing MC, however briefly.
As an outsider, I'm obviously from Scotland, from Glasgow in Scotland, and I travel the world mostly in America and in Canada, but one thing that fascinates me is the psychology of a crowd and how it works with the culture that you're in. And every time I come to Cork, I love the openness, I love that. I mean, it's just that there's a friendliness which comes through, and the better the music, the more they appreciate it. Now, as a performer, that's got to be one of the most rewarding things you can be involved with. So I love coming down to Cork because the people of Cork give us such a warm, and it's not charity. I think if we played a bad concert, you'd soon know about it. But hopefully we've got a good one ready to go tonight. But we feed off that as well. So people of Cork, keep it up.